Most people are not stuck because they lack opportunity, talent, or even timing. They're stuck because they have slowly trained themselves to ignore their own potential. And right now, as you're hearing this, there is something inside you that already knows you are capable of more. But you've gotten it used to silencing it. And you scroll, you delay, you justify, you wait for the perfect moment. That never comes, right? And in doing so, you quietly teach yourself that your goals are optional, that is not about motivation. It is about identity. And the version of you that succeed is not waiting for permission. It's already built, but it's buried under habits that reward comfort over growth. And the truth is, potential does not disappear. It gets ignored repeatedly until it feels unreal. And once something feels unreal, you stop acting like it matters. And that is where most people lose, not in the failure, but in forgetting what they are capable of before they even try. Think about how many times you have felt a surge of energy, an idea, a vision, a plan to change something about your life, only to talk yourself out of it within hours or days. That pattern is not random, it is trained. And every time you choose distraction over discipline, you reinforce a weaker identity. And every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you negotiate away from your future. And the most dangerous part is that it feels harmless in the moment. And there's no loud consequence when you skip a workout, avoid a hard conversation, or delay a project. But over time, those small choices they compound into a life that feels smaller than the one you imagine. This is where awareness becomes power, because the moment you see the pattern clearly, you also see the exit. And the exit is not complicated, but it is uncomfortable. It requires you to act before you feel ready, to move before you feel confident, and to commit before you feel certain. And most people they wait for that certainty, but certainty is not the starting point. It is the result of the repetition. You do not think your way into a new life. You act your way into it. There's a reason successful people often look like they are doing more with less hesitation. It is not because they are fearless. It's because they have trained themselves to respond to resistance with action instead of avoidance. They feel the same about doubt and the same about fatigue and the same temptations to quit, but they do not treat those feelings as instructions. Feelings are signals, not commands. And if you start obeying every feeling of discomfort, you will eventually build a life designed entirely around avoiding growth. Now imagine reversing that, okay? Imagine every time you felt resistance, you recognize it as a signal that something important is on the other side. And that shift alone can change the trajectory of your life. But because the difference between people who stay stuck and the people who break through is not intelligence, it's resources or even talent. It is tolerance for discomfort. Growth always feels like friction at first, and the brain, it resists change because change is energy intensive. But your future depends on your ability to override that resistance long enough to create the momentum. And once the momentum exists, discipline becomes easier, not harder. One action leads to another, and suddenly what once felt impossible becomes routine. But none of that starts without a decision to stop ignoring what you already know. You should be doing what you should be doing. You already know the conversation you need to have, the habits you need to build, and the distractions you need to reduce. The problem is not awareness, it's execution. And execution, it begins with the excuses. Stop being accepted internally. And there's a moment where you have to decide what your comfort is no longer to the priority. That does not mean living in suffering. It means understanding that temporary discomfort is the price of long-term freedom. And if you need a practical reminder of how tools and resources and can support your journey, you can check the link in the description. And sometimes having the right tools removes the unnecessary friction and helps you stay consistent. But even the best tools are useless without the action. The real shift happens when you stop waiting for external changes and start creating internal ones. And again, if you're serious about taking the next step, you need to focus on you. At the core of everything is a simple truth: your life is currently shaped by what you repeatedly ignore. If you ignore the discipline, you get chaos. If you ignore the effort, you get the stagnation. And if you ignore your potential, you get a life that feels like a fraction of what it could be. But the reverse is also true. If you start paying attention to your potential, even in small ways, everything begins to shift. You do not need to change your entire life in a day. You just need to stop abandoning yourself in small moments, one decision at a time, one action at a time, one refusal to quit at a time. And this is how identity changes. It's not through hesitation, but through repetition. And the sooner you accept that your potential is not something you find, but something you prove through action, the sooner your life begins to align with what you are truly capable of becoming. Now, consider this at a deeper level, okay? Your environment is shaping your behavior more than your intentions ever will. If you live surrounded by distractions and conveniences, your brain adapts to seek that by default. If you build an environment that rewards structure and effort, discipline becomes a path of least resistance. Change is often less about willpower and more about designing what is easy and what is hard. And at the same time, your identity is being reinforced daily through repetition. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens self trust, and every promise you break weakens it. And over time, this either builds quiet confidence or quiet doubt. And this is why consistency always beats intensity. Intensity can start momentum, but consistency is what rewires it and rewires you. Most people fail not because they never try hard enough, but because they try intensively, and inconsistently, and wonder why nothing changes. If you zoom out, the real risk is not failure. It is remaining unchanged for years while believing you are preparing for something better. A simple but powerful shift is to make decisions as the future version of you would. Instead of asking what feels easiest now, ask what would the person I want to become choose in this moment right now. That single question reduces the excuses because it removes the emotion from the decision and replaces it with the direction. This is also a quiet psychological cost to ignoring your potential. It does not show up immediately, but over time it becomes regret, a subtle awareness that you spent more time avoiding effort than building anything meaningful. The longer you delay change, the more normal that delay feels and the harder it becomes to break out of it. But the moment you interrupt the pattern, even slightly, you prove to yourself that you are not stuck. One practical way to do that is the act immediately after deciding something important because hesitation gives your mind time to generate excuses. Speed reduces the resistance. And finally, picture your life 1 year from now. If you stopped ignoring what you already know, not perfectly disciplined every day, but consistently choosing action over avoidance, that future is not created in one moment, but in thousands of small decisions where you refuse to abandon yourself. Thanks for watching today's video. If you found value in today's video, all I ask is subscribe. We're looking to build this channel, and without the subscription base, we really can't remain here. So I would really like to be here for many years to come. So subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Well, I'll be here tomorrow. See you then.